I was on the road in a lonely night when your seductive moon poured deep into my bones. I couldn't move, I couldn't fight as you sucked my fear into your coming light. You broke my heart and you took my soul, then left me alone to crumble on the side. The truck of love, the truck of love, the truck of love, the truck of love. I've been broken by the broken truck of love. The truck of love, the truck of love, the truck of love, the truck of love. I've been broken by the hungry truck of love. I believed in fairy tales, but I was waiting here so long. I come to think you had forgotten me. I gotten used to being alone, but then you came along with all your charms, and you lift me to your light. That's why I gave you everything, but you still ran me down. The truck of love, the truck of love, the truck of love, the truck of love. I've been broken by the hungry truck of love. The truck of love, the truck of love, the truck of love, the truck of love. I've been broken by the hungry truck of love. There were stars above, there was cold below. I heard my voice screaming, just get off the road. But I stood up and I'm standing tall. So come on now and chuck you turn. The truck of love, the truck of love, the truck of love, the truck of love. I've been bruised but not broken by love. The truck of love, the truck of love, the truck of love, the truck of love. I've been bruised but still want the truck of love. You think you finished me, but underneath my shell, my heart learned to sing the blues, and then my soul learned as well. Now I need a muse to sing, I need some light, so I'm heading back to the road, and I'm heading back tonight. The truck of love, the truck of love, the truck of love. I've been bruised but not broken by love. The truck of love, the truck of love, the truck of love. I've been bruised but still want the truck of love.
Okay, let's get going. Apologies. The other show starts tomorrow night. That's with the paramedics. It's going to be a long, long show. John Larder might join us as well since he was a paramedic. But that'll be starting at 6:30. I put it down today because I'm an idiot, but it's on tomorrow night. Tonight, though, we have so we're doing interviews all the time and mainly Australians. But a gentleman came up on my Instagram feed called Bromleyo, I think is Bromleyo, and he's got an unusual affliction on his face, and I just listened to him one day, and I was really moved by how he was and the message he was trying to get across. So I reached out to him. I didn't think I'd hear, but he got back and said he'd love to come on for a chat. So let's make him welcome. This is Oliver Bromley. How you going, Oliver Bromley?
Yeah, I'm doing very, very well. Thank you so much for including me on your podcast. Thank you.
That's no problem. Now, I do understand that you're living in England, but you've also got the handicap of having a South African accent that you're never going to get rid of.
That's absolutely correct. I'm from South Africa, born in the Cape, grew up in Johannesburg, and I've lived in the United Kingdom for about 10 years.
What was it like leaving South Africa? Because, I mean, we've seen South Africa decline in our time, really.
You know, we have, and it was very sad to see the decay and the decline, but it's a fantastic country. It remains so. We still have family there. It's a beautiful country. It's probably one of the most beautiful countries in the world, obviously next to Australia.
Are you talking visually?
Yes, visually. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful country. Scenery, natural landscapes, mountains, oceans, It's a very beautiful country, but it was very hard to live there, and we made the move to the UK for various reasons.
Did you ever see any of the violence yourself that we've seen on
So
TV?
I did, unfortunately. I experienced friends losing their lives to sort of that kind of violence as well. Heard lots of stories. I was never directly impacted by physical violence, but it did occur, unfortunately.
So I was aware. But it could have happened at any time.
It could have happened to anyone at any time. Yes, yeah. But it's a
So
great
what's it
country,
like?
and yeah.
What's it like leaving, not so much as a refugee, as a tourist, but in a way like a refugee? You're starting to make a new life because it's too dangerous in the country of your birth.
Well, fortunately, I grew up with a father who was from Britain, and I have a UK passport. So I guess I always had an affinity for the UK. The culture was familiar to me, so it wasn't such a culture shock. It was still indeed a shock in many ways, but it was okay. It made the transition comfortable, and I had family here, so that also helped. And unfortunately, for some, they don't have that comfort of having family around.
Yeah, so well, Australia, we got loads of South Africans here, loads. There's and I don't
I'm
mean that in a
sorry
bad
about that.
way. That wasn't a derogatory tone. That was, but can I let's get to the thing too. What is this thing you have which causes these nodules on your face?
Yes, all right. So I'll tell you what it's called. It's in three parts. It's a long word: neurofibromatosis. Neurofibromatosis. It used to be called von Recklinghausen's disease after the person who I assume discovered it. And what it is, I have type 1, by the way. There's type 1 and type 2. And it's the presentation of tumors at the nerve endings. So people like me have these little lumps and bumps all over our body, and those little tumors are called neurofibromas, and they occur at the nerve endings. And I also have these bigger tumors sometimes, which affected my right eye, which I can discuss later, but
Yeah.
that's a plexiform fibroma. And typically what happens is people with neurofibromatosis, they don't have a substance called neurofibromin in their bodies, which your body has, and that's a tumor cancelling protein. So it regulates cell growth, and our bodies aren't able to stop the tumors from growing. So that is neurofibromatosis, kind of in a nutshell.
Are they benign? These
They
like
they
they
are
grow.
mostly yes, they are both. They are mostly benign. They can become cancerous, and I don't know many people that did, but I have heard during my advocacy work, I have heard of cases where they do become cancerous, but it's very rare.
When did it first appear? Like were you born covered like this,
Yes,
or did it?
yes.
Oh,
So I can answer. That's a great question. So I was born with it, but it typically presents when you become an adolescent. So young children, if they have a parent with it, they have these brown spots on their body that they're born with. They're called cafe au lait spots, so
are they
brown
like
coffee
birthmarks?
stains,
They look like birthmarks.
birthmarks, and that's an early indicator that you will develop the tumors when you get to the age of about 14 or 15, as it was in my case.
But if it's rare, when you were first born,
Mm.
did the South African doctors know immediately what it was, or were they
They
just
did,
going,
fortunately, because they tested because of my father having had it. And if you have a parent
oh,
with it, you have a 50% chance of getting it. However, it's a great question because lots of people only discover later on in young adulthood that they have
yeah.
neurofibromatosis because of its incidence and its occurrence in the population being so rare. Many doctors don't even know about it and aren't familiar with it and aren't able to diagnose it. Of course, now we know the Genome Project in the late 80s mapped all the conditions. We know it occurs in the chromosome number 17. So we know where it occurs now, but I was born in a time where they didn't even know that. So it's much easier now for some people.
And I see you moving a lot. Is that a part of the disease as well, or you just had a rough night?
No, I'm just expressive. I'm just expressive.
No worries. Now, with the eye, you said so one of them became cancerous, and that's what's happened to your eye.
It didn't become cancerous, but the larger plexiform fibroma that I had grew so big that it damaged my skull and it damaged my eye. And I had multiple brain operations throughout my life to try and debulk that tumor because it kept growing back. and they were trying to preserve the right eye, so I never really had the tumor removed properly. Then about 2 years ago, they decided to remove the right eye completely, which they did, and they took some skin from my left leg and they pasted it over, and that's called a skin flap. So I have this skin that's taken from my left leg, so the hair continues to grow because of the veins that came from my left leg as well. Or there, they plugged them in. And because of the damage to the skull, they 3D printed.
So you have to shave your eye every now and again.
I do. It's a hairy eyeball. I have to shave it. And then they put a... You go on.
No, I had a big cancer taken out here, and they brought it up. I haven't shaved. I've got it here somewhere. But that's on your cheek, man. No one notices.
Yeah.
But an eye, maybe you notice.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So then they put a bit of they printed a bit of skull in a lab using a 3D medical printer, plastic, and it's called a peak insert. And they plugged it in there. A fantastic Australian surgeon at King's College Hospital in London.
Wow.
He did amazing work. Yeah. So he's back in Australia now. But yeah, fantastic work at King's College Hospital in London. I was really blessed by them.
Can I ask now, going on about your journey, when you're growing up with this, is there a time where you're like almost angry with your body like this, or did you just learn to accept it straight away, or was the time of frustration?
Of course not. I mean, children are cruel, they're curious,
absolutely,
especially in the school playground. In South Africa, it's an equally hot country like Australia, and I couldn't just take my t-shirt off and sit by the pool because of how it looked. Children are curious. At school, they used to call me Cyclops, or the one-eyed man from Greek mythology, because in school was an horrific experience for me as I learned to navigate this journey of being different. But of course, naturally, I was angry some days, but I grew to accept. You do grow to accept, and largely helped by my own Christian faith and my supportive family, who helped to normalize and help to cancel out all of that horrific treatment that I was experiencing.
The acceptance, I know you've said that, and I'm really interested in that journey of acceptance, because one, you can't escape it. So there's no choice. So there's only either that or topping yourself, to be honest. But so there must be a decision somewhere in your life where you made the Shakespearean decision of to be or not to be, and decided to be. Is that what happened, or you never?
And it's not a straight journey. You come back to that place often, and you think, okay, today I'm okay. I know tomorrow I might not be as accepting, and I think I don't remember a moment in time where I made a conscious decision to not let it affect me. But a couple of the mantras that I've gone over in my head many times is what other people think about me is none of my business. In school we were taught that nursery rhyme, sticks and stones will break my bones, and words will never harm me. And easy to say, hard to do, right? And the other one is, we know people are acting from a place of ignorance. So I now tell people on my morning TikToks, when we know better, we do better. So we turn these moments into teaching moments, and we try and educate and try and help create learning experiences through those interactions that I have in the supermarket, where people are unkind, or if a child points and stares, we turn those moments around, and we now educate, and we turn it into something positive.
The children I can totally understand, because they'd just be curious, and here's an adult that doesn't look like any other adults. But what are the adults like? Because I saw you interviewing your friend. I didn't get his name, and he'd been asked to leave a restaurant, and I was going to also reach out to him, because what are the cruel things you cop from adults?
That was my story. I was the one that had to leave the restaurant.
Oh, sorry, I must have heard you're the one that had to leave.
Yes, I was. But he was the interviewer. His name is Amit Ghosh. He's
sorry.
in the book.
I'm an old man in a bus. I'm like,
no, that's okay. And actually, he was also asked to leave a cafe. But what it was, people like me have many trips to hospital. So last year I was back at King's College Hospital for a different reason, and I went into a restaurant as part of my stay in hospital because I didn't want that awful food. And basically the restaurant said to me, "You're scaring customers, you need to leave because of how you look." And this is what launched my media career, because it caught the attention of the world's media. I was on Sky News, BBC,
Oh,
did all the
really?
social media stuff. Yeah. So my story I was famous for a couple of seconds, right? But it's an answer to your question. People don't understand. And I think maybe they thought it was contagious, which it's not. Neurofibromatosis is not contagious. They might have thought it was the monkeypox. So there's a lot of things that we can now do to inform and help people do better when they meet people like me.
Yeah. But at the time, I guess they didn't say that. They just said you're scaring people.
Well, we are scary, and it was difficult because this country was facing race riots in the summer of last year, and a certain establishment was not obviously a white place, and I didn't want to inflame the situation in London more by naming and shaming them in the public space. Of course, I named it to a few friends and people at work, but we never named them publicly because we wanted the story to be something different. We wanted the story to be about advocating for people with NF, not about me.
And did you think
doing
that
the
straight away, or what was
yes,
that
I did.
moment?
It's strange, you know. I had this niggling feeling, and my wife encouraged me not also to name it because we just had the sense this is a big story. Something is going to come from this. Something good is going to come from this, and we're going to turn this around. And I'm still here, sort of 10 months later, telling the same story to whoever will listen about that restaurant
I never heard
incident.
that story from the mainstream. You just
Yes.
popped up on my Instagram
Yes,
feed.
yes.
You know, and
so it's been a great journey, and it's now they call me an advocate for that community. So it's really been an interesting journey.
Well, that's the interesting thing. So you're going through now, even though you've got this affliction, the children are awful to you, but you obviously have your marbles. There's nothing wrong with what's going on inside the skull. So here you have to set up a life. You've got to find a partner. Yeah, if you try find a partner, you got to get a job or a career. And you have the affliction you're looking at, knowing what people will think and how people can be so biased. How was that? How was that finding the courage to move forward, to sort of leave home and go, okay, I'm going to make my way in the world regardless?
It's just taking one step at a time. And of course, I'll tell you another quick anecdotal story. I once went for an interview in London, in one of those iconic buildings you see on the London skyline. And I was new to London, right? And being a South African, I wanted to make an impression. So I made sure I was there super duper early, only because I didn't know where I was and I didn't want to be late for the interview. Again, I got to the interview 2 hours early, right? And I said to the receptionist, just excuse me, I'm happy to sit in this air-conditioned office. I just want to cool down and be ready for the interview, but I am here. So, and the interview went really well. And the gentleman said to me, we were super impressed with you. Your CV is amazing, but we've got one problem with you, in that you were early for your interview. And that shows to us that you can't manage your time. So on that basis alone, we're not giving you the job. So I'm telling you the story because people like me face, and it's bizarre, isn't it? Face microaggressions. So people don't want to say to your face, we don't know how you look. We don't like how you look. Sorry.
Yeah.
They make other excuses. And that was a legitimate excuse in his mind to not give me the job.
So he was sitting there thinking, how can I not give this person the job because he ticks every box?
Yes.
And so they're ticking you for being early.
Yes. So in answer to your question, those kind of incidents reinforce your negative self-image, and it's you never arrive at that place. It's a journey, and you keep coming back and you keep building yourself up. So I don't think I ever arrived at a place where I was confident. I don't think I am still, but just take one day at a time. And that's how I have, in answer to your question, I got there eventually. That's how I've navigated my life, just taking one day at a time.
Well, how about then having the courage to do what you do now, where you put your face on Instagram right up. You're right up to the camera. I mean, it's clearer than what on this video now. You're right up to the camera.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah, you like that. You're going, here I am. And
Yes.
and that's what I admire. And I said before the thing, not only do you do that, but you never play the victim. You have stories that allow you to play the victim, but you don't. And so what was that like when you first decided, yep, this is me, I'm gonna put it out. I've been on, so the Sky News and all that started it. But has that your
Mm.
life changed since you've started that? Thanks, Sarah.
It,
Has
it's
your life
it's
changed since
amazing.
you started that?
It's amazing because I'll give you a quick story on Sky News, right? So
Yeah, I love
I
stories.
went
Tell as
onto
many as you
Sky
want.
News. I went onto Sky News, and suddenly I'm sat in the studio with Sarah Jane, a fantastic media personality in the UK, and she's interviewing me, and I'm not thinking to myself, there's like 15 million people watching me live. and and very sadly, I had just lost my father the week before that. So my head
Oh,
was just in a mess. And again, I just found myself telling my story to one person. And actually, I was telling it to 15 million people. But then I started TikTok and I started going on walks every morning, just speaking to my phone. And I did it for me. I wanted to tell my story just to one person because I think there's power in storytelling. So now I say, just tell one person your story. And if it turns into 100,000 people, and I've had 500,000 views in the last month, it's been amazing. God's really blessed me to be able to do this. So it's just bizarre.
isn't
I
that
don't know
amazing?
how I've done
Half a
it, but
million views.
just one day at a time, right? And
Yeah.
and I quote this lady a lot. Her name's Ankie Kroch, and she wrote a book called Country of My Skull. She's a South African author, and she says that the only way to bear the unbearable is to tell it. The only way to bear the unbearable is to tell it. So storytelling is powerful, and it helps us to make sense of our trauma.
The only way to bear the unbearable is to tell it.
Is to tell it. That's great, isn't it?
That is fantastic.
Yeah,
That's
I like
that's
it.
really clever. It's
Yeah,
beautiful, actually. You
mm,
know,
it's
I
very
know
beautiful.
that
So yeah,
I was watching after South African fell because I was a playwright, and I was watching a
mm,
South African playwright saying we tell our stories to share the pain, pain shared, pain
mm,
halved. But that
mm,
your thing takes it to
mm,
another level. That quote,
mm.
because there
It
must have
is,
been moments
and
when
now I tell. You go. Sorry.
oh, so that's all right. There must have been moments where you must have thought, I can't do this. It's too hard. You know,
Mm,
and I'm really interested in the courage you found to keep going forward because I think courage is thoroughly underrated, and yet
mm,
it's what defines us and creates us, and you know,
mm.
yeah,
And it hasn't always been this way, and
mm.
you allow yourself to grieve and to but you get up again tomorrow and you carry on. You have to. You've got no choice. And I just think it's been a case of having to survive, and you just take one day at a time. And I've never consciously thought, why am I still here? Why am I? How do I carry on? But you just have to. You have to get back on that bus,
Well,
or
how old are
bike.
you
Sorry,
now?
I'm 43.
So
Yeah.
43. So you've had 40 years of dealing with this. So
Mm, mm,
it's coming through. It's just
mm,
yeah. I think it's
mm,
I think it's remarkable. Did you? And it's just. Was there any ever blame of adults? And I'm sorry to get into this, but and if you say, look, I don't want to answer that, tell me. But
mm,
was
mm,
it's it is a journey. You can't just wake up and say, okay, this is it. I'm going. You'd have to go
mm,
on this journey. And I'm
mm,
just interested
mm.
in was there anger at your parents and stuff like this, and real things that you had to get past in order to heal.
Naturally, there were. We all have issues with parents, don't we, when we're growing up?
Mm,
But really, I have had the most loving, supportive family. Now, a wonderfully supportive wife. I don't blame anybody. I don't. I've never ever asked the question, why did you choose to have children, knowing that you had neurofibromatosis and the risk that you might pass it on? No, it didn't. It didn't. I didn't ever think like that. This is the life that I have, and it's a meaningful one, and I'm very grateful for the life that I have. So it's not really crossed my mind.
Well, I was going to get there because I can see the gratitude in the things that you do. So I'm more interested in your journey of how you got here. Because I think I
Mm,
told you, like we all live lives, but some lives are done on like a freeway. Everyone's doing that route. Might be slight
mm,
differences, but
mm,
some of us take a route less traveled, like the Robert Frost poem, and that's what you've done. You know what I mean?
mm,
Here you are with this rare affliction. You've got to deal with that.
mm,
You've got to go in through school, which is
mm.
if you got a hair out of place. And
I know.
people
I know.
people freak out they don't want to school because they've got a hair
Mm,
out of place,
mm,
and so here they are going in like this. You've got to get past that, and then you've got to have a life. And so what do you actually think of life itself? Like when you think of life, is it something to be endured? Is it something to be explored? Is it just you just got lucky, unlucky? What's your view of what life actually is?
It's a journey, and there's deep meaning to be found in our suffering. I was speaking to a friend of mine yesterday who's a vicar, and I reminded him of the Austrian psychiatrist Viktor Frankl, who wrote the book Man's Search for Meaning. You might have heard of it, and he endured the horrors of the concentration camps, and the only way he was able to get through that is to find meaning in his suffering. So he noticed that the prisoners that survived Auschwitz and Birkenau were those that were able to help others. And so it might have meant not eating your bread tonight because you could help somebody else eat their bread. So there's purpose and meaning to be found in suffering, and that motivates us. So Viktor Frankl left the concentration camps, and he went on to have a career, and he proposed a theory called logotherapy, right? Which says that our primary motivational force in life is to find meaning in our suffering. So life is not just something that you endure, but you find purpose and meaning in all these different things. And to me, I think, my life has been hard. It's been so hard, it's not even true, but there's purpose and there's a reason for it. And I'm able to now tell my story to help others. So it's a wonderful journey, and it's a huge blessing to be alive.
Just before we go on, you just said it's been so hard it's not even true. I've 60 years on the planet. I've never heard that quote. What do you mean by that?
So I've had about 6 or 7 brain surgeries. I've had so many other types of operations. I've struggled in the employment world. I've been in and out of hospital probably my whole childhood, so it's been really hard. Facing rejection from peers, not getting the job because of how I look. So life is hard.
Yeah.
But I'm very grateful for life because there's meaning and purpose in it.
Well, don't you think that depending on how you are, I mean, if say you don't believe in God, say you're someone who believes in evolution, nature is very thrift. And so I doubt she would give us a hunger for meaning if there wasn't a meaning to be discovered, because she wouldn't bother wasting energy. And the same for God. I don't think a God would be so cruel as to give us a hunger for meaning and yet give no meaning for us to be found. So I really believe that. And so I think when I look at you, that when you said journey, that this is it. And this is interesting. So I've brought up these sad past effects, but I'm really interested on this journey you've undertaken with support, but a lot of it has been faced by yourself. What have you learned? What are the things that you've learned from this rarer journey than other people take?
Yeah.
Of course, I could ask you your favorite color. It's one either. We go shallow, we go deep. Sorry.
So my lesson has been that there is meaning and there's purpose in our suffering, but life, just take one day at a time, live in the moment. I think clever people call that mindfulness, but it's so true. It's the way my father, I observed the way that he lived his life, not worrying about tomorrow. And I've got this really cool analogy that I now say is, don't spend today's battery on tomorrow's worries and tasks. So we get given a new battery every day and just live in the moment. It's so important just to be grounded, be mindful, be present. And however you achieve that, through me, it's my faith, and other people might have other ways of achieving that. But just be present in the moment. Don't spend today's battery on tomorrow's worries and tasks, because that's a fruitless exercise and you'll just exhaust yourself.
I'm writing that down. I'm not ignoring you.
We can't control tomorrow. There might be something you're really worrying about, but we can't worry about that. You have to just deal with today. Today is all we have, and it's all that we are guaranteed.
That's really beautiful, man. Yeah. It's easy because a lot of us worry. Worry makes us sick. I remember seeing this 100-year-old man, and they said to me, "How'd you live so long?" He said, "You don't worry. Doesn't do anything for you.
That's true.
Doesn't fix anything, just makes you
really
sick."
It really doesn't.
Don't worry.
And one day at a time. Yes.
Yeah. Now, what did you decide to do for work? What career did you go into?
So it's been a sort of a journey all over the place. I did a degree in psychology in South Africa, and I've worked in various sectors. I found myself now working in the UK for the National Health Service, the public health service in this country. I work for a mental health team, and I hope to run a mental health crisis line. So speak to people at the end of their rope, quite literally, every day. So it's challenging, but it's also, again, it's such a meaningful, purposeful thing to do, because you're helping people reconsider the thoughts that they are having about not wanting to be here anymore. And by the way, I'm not allowed to say that word on TikTok, but I'll say it here, commit suicide on TikTok. You have to say they made themselves unalive. Otherwise, TikTok will shadow ban you. There's certain words you can't say on TikTok.
Yeah, unalive. I know, I heard that
yourself.
recently. They're going, unalive, you mean
Bizarre,
dead.
bizarre. Yeah, basically.
But
Basically, make
if you
themselves
say unalive,
unalive.
you say dead, they're still dead. You know what I mean?
It is what it is. But
yeah, I've been
TikTok
watching
have a different way.
Yeah, I know.
Bizarre world that we live in. So that's what I do now. I work for the National Health Service, and I speak to people in crisis, and your crisis is not my crisis. That's quite a subjective term, and I sit there some days thinking, really, let's think about this. Is this really a crisis? No, but for them it is, and so that's what I do.
Can I say I actually interviewed another psychologist just 2 days ago in a country town. That's why I'm out here in Queensland, and he was great, but he said something. Oh, it's about survival of the fittest, which I don't actually believe that. I think the reason humans have survived so long is love, is not actual hate, and I read this thing, or I saw something somewhere. And it was the first evidence of civilization, and it was a healed, broken bone. And they said someone had to remain with this person for 4 or 5 weeks while this bone healed. And this was in like caveman days.
I know that story, yeah.
Yeah, and that shows that this is how they measure it. Someone actually risked their lives to protect this person, and that's love. And this is how they measure the civilization. And I don't know if it's true, but I love it. And this is the other thing you're doing. Here you are. You've got every reason to be this bitter, nasty person, yelling at the world, throwing things around, even getting, literally. And yet here you are on a helpline, helping people go, you're not at the end of the rope. Just have a look. There's a lot more rope, and you're giving. How do you get past all the things? And I know you said about that Viktor Frankl. I know you can learn from that, but this has to be within you. There has to be something within you where you made a choice. Helping people brings me more joy than basically not.
Yeah, and it's been reminded of those truths constantly by my wife and by my family, and the encouragement. I do not know how people navigate this life and this world without a supportive, loving family. So at the end of the day, I leave the office. I literally leave it behind. I've been able to practice to consciously take off that hat and put something else on. And I just tell myself, that's my job, and you have to turn it off. And we get support there. Of course, we have psychologists that we can talk to if we want, but it is hard. It is hard, but I can turn it off quite easily, I think.
So you're a psychologist. And
I'm not a psychologist myself. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not trained, but I've done a degree in psychology, but I am
okay.
I'm not a registered clinician, but I could certainly do that if I chose to. But I
think you should.
Yeah,
you're a philosopher of nothing else. The other interesting thing is that the psychologist I talked to, it took him 10 years to train. He said he's not interested in fixing people. He's more interested in allowing them to remember they have the tools to fix themselves.
Yes.
And it's all in the thinking. you know?
Yeah, talking therapy is very much like that. It's about the CBT, challenging those thoughts as they enter your head, not letting them take root. So you're just trying to challenge people all day with those negative thoughts and negative self-talk. You just challenge those thoughts. There's no evidence to support the fact that you think you're useless. You're just feeling useless, but no evidence says that you are useless. So I think CBT is also a very powerful tool.
Do you think society itself is designed to make us feel like crap? I noticed when I was young, not young, when I was a younger father, I went to buy a Christmas present for my daughter, and I got really angry because I felt like everything was designed to make her feel like she was inadequate. The dolls all looked like supermodels, and this. And I just felt, because at that time she hadn't gone to school. She'd basically been just home the whole time, and she was the star of the house, like absolutely loved herself. But then she went to school, and that all came tumbling down, and that's what she's had
Yes.
to fight against, which a lot of us do. And I just wonder
Yeah.
if society itself, just to finish the thought, I often wonder if society wants to make, say, women feel like they're not good enough. That's why they buy makeup and beauty products.
Of
Even
course.
men, it's just
Of course.
everything is designed to make us buy shit. We don't really
No,
need to make us feel
absolutely.
better. So you're dealing with that as
Absolutely.
well,
I
as
am.
well as
And
this.
it is. And I work with when I don't work, I sort of do some advocacy work for a charity in the UK called Changing Faces. Now, Changing Faces support people with visible differences. We used to call that disfigurement. It's now visible differences. One of the things we're thinking about is I'm Not Your Villain as a campaign. For the longest time, Hollywood has villainized people that look different. James Bond franchise is one example. Every bad guy has a facial difference. And so that villainizes and that
comes from
reinforces.
Shakespeare, actually.
Yes. And that reinforces the stigma.
Is
correct.
disfigured.
And that reinforces stigma. And we need to challenge stigma. We need to change the narrative that I am not your villain, right? Just because I look different. So in the same way for young ladies with body dysmorphia, and the Victoria's Secret sort of was designed by a man anyway to make women according to how they wanted to appear, right? So yes, society is wrong and at fault, but Changing Faces, we're trying to change that for some people like me.
Yeah, I am not your villain. That's interesting. It's it's interesting, isn't it? It's interesting to see how to, because some people sadly have very narrow views. They don't think deep. I know when I used to work
No, they don't. They don't.
years ago, I was a carer for disabled people, or whatever we call
Right.
disabled people now. And I loved my job. I loved it. It was my favorite job of my life. It was the only job where I actually did volunteer work almost the same amount as the work I did, because I just enjoyed it so much. And it was because I was helping. That was it. And they didn't actually, they themselves weren't victims. They just because they had muscular sclerosis or whatever they had, or muscular dystrophy, they couldn't reach something, so you reached it. You were the limb that they didn't have. And then you just built relationship. It actually gave birth to my spirituality, because when I looked after the people that were profoundly handicapped, everyone felt about them the same way. Like this is their personality, and yet they had no way to communicate that personality. And so I thought, well, this must be happening spiritually, because I feel that this girl here too is a cheeky little thing. This half-caste Aboriginal girl. But I remember when we went out once, we used to take them out. And I remember this female taxi driver said, they must have done something bad in this life, that God's punishing them. And I remember thinking, wow, you ignorant bitch, And just thinking, seriously, you don't even know this person. They're great, And but that's what it is. Unfortunately, there's some you'll never change, because that's
absolutely,
the construct
absolutely.
Yeah.
And I challenge people now.
Good.
I because So a lot of the comments on TikTok are, or he's from The Last of Us, and I didn't even know what that meant. I had to look that up. What is that? I don't know what that is
It's
because of
it's
how I
uh
look.
it's uh it's like the Walking Dead film series, but instead of zombies, the humans have been infected by fungus. And I hate to say
Okay,
it, but they do have growths like that. So I don't know
fair
if they've
enough.
used your
Fair
disease
enough.
as a model.
But then fair enough. But and I say to them that that's unkind, but it's okay because you don't know better. This is what my condition is, and
Yeah,
please understand. For me, it doesn't affect me because, as again, what people think about me is not my business. But it might be affecting somebody that's watching me who has my condition, and it will reinforce their belief that they shouldn't be doing social media because this is the kind of treatment that they might get. So
yeah,
I speak up now, not just for me, but for a community of people that I represent and that don't often get a look in. And
yeah.
I think it's important to challenge those sort of comments. Obviously, I can't screenshot them all I have, and I don't even redact those people's names now.
Well,
I just show the world what they like.
yeah, I get scores of trolls. In fact, and
Yeah.
generally I ban them because, to be honest, there's two sorts of trolls. One, chances are this kid is, as let's say it's a guy for a sec, is sad. It's got nothing going for them. This is how they're
Mm,
basically trying to get known, is
mm.
by saying something they know is rude on purpose.
Yeah.
Just, you
Keyboard
know what I mean?
warriors.
It's more about them than it is about you.
Mm.
He didn't give it a moment's thought, just hoping you get a few reactions, you know.
Yes. Yes.
And then the other sad thing, and this is true now, they have it's called farm bots, and it's
Mm.
factories all over
Mm.
Asia and probably all over the world, full of hundreds of thousands of mobile phones, and all they do is troll our accounts, posting usually rude, vile things just to
Yeah.
get reactions and stuff like this. So chances
Mm.
are this person isn't even
Mm.
real. You know, it's just
Fair
an
enough. Fair
algorithm
enough.
designed to, you know, and you can kind of tell when you talk to them
Mm.
how they react. They don't react like humans. You know, you
Mm.
can't, no matter what you
Mm.
say, you can't sort of get an emotional reaction.
Mm.
You know, they sort of
Mm.
live at
Mm.
this level of hate, which is
Mm.
hard to sustain as a
Mm.
human being.
It is.
Um,
It is.
yeah. The other thing they're good for, though, is they're good for spreading your reach, because other people get on and watch and this, so
They
you
are.
can just
They
use
certainly
them.
are. You can use
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
Absolutely, you can. You can.
Yeah, so they help with that. But I think myself with you, and I hope that you do it, is that you stick to your message of empathy. I mean, the fact that
Mm.
you're helping people, I mean, I
Mm.
love the idea that someone's called up and
Mm.
maybe they've got something that means a lot to them, but it might,
Mm.
to others, it'd be like, that's nothing to worry about. And they're on the
Mm.
phone to you, and of course they can't
Mm.
see you, they're just listening to you,
Mm.
and they're
Mm.
pouring all their problems out to you.
Mm.
And I wonder how
Mm.
they'd feel if they saw you and think, wow, you know, here I
Mm.
am worrying that my boyfriend's left me, and I'm being helped by someone who I should have been helping, or I should have, you know what I mean? It's I just think that's remarkable, you know?
And I've often been
That's
tempted
you write a
to
book.
tell them
That's
my
what you should write a book about.
I think so because I've often been tempted to tell them my story, and I think obviously professionally you can't do that.
No.
Bizarrely, I've been to psychologists as a patient where they end up telling me their whole life story. It's very weird, but I don't do that. But it'll be tempting
Charge
to
them.
do that. Exactly. Hmm.
But there's yeah, it's an interesting thing with it, you know, yeah. Because my thing is this decision to be empathetic,
Mm.
decision to care. I'm just
Mm.
wondering, uh, within you and within everybody, whether that's a choice or whether that's just you. You were going to
It's
be this
yeah.
caring person, and this is the package you came in. You could have come looking like
Well,
Brad Pitt. You came looking like Oliver Bromley. Whatever was going to
mm,
happen, you were going to be this caring person, or whether the choices
maybe.
you made through your um, challenges, and you decided, no, I'm not going to let bitterness win.
Mm.
I'm going to help.
I think empathy, by its very definition, is to understand how another person is feeling, and you can't achieve that in a textbook. You can't learn that academically. It's only through having gone through difficult experiences have I become this person. And I've tried not to let it get me down. Sometimes I am bitter, but I'm only human.
Yeah.
On the whole, I think I am empathic.
Oh, you are. There's no doubt about it. You exude it, buddy. There's just thinking there though. That it's yeah. How would you put this? It's interesting if we were to meet our gods to ask us why things happened as they happened. The things in our life which we don't understand. You know what I mean? We just have to live with it. Everybody has those stories. Everybody. You know, from you meet someone, you love them, and then they either leave or something bad happens, or there's all manner of things that we just have to pick ourselves up and go, well, we don't know, we're going to keep going. But when you said we're only human, I actually think humans are the pinnacle of all this, even this planet. I know this will get me in trouble. And it's not just the, like Leonard Cohen says, it's not just the beautiful ones. It's all of us. Because we're here, we've got a sense that there's something greater. We don't have evidence. We've got to run on faith. We're often alone, even if we're with people, and having the courage to pick up. And yet, despite all of this and all the challenges we face, and death hunting us, you know, at every corner, in history, suddenly we changed the universe around us by somebody stopping to heal someone's broken bone. And
Amazing.
we create from there.
Amazing.
And you're doing the same. I mean, just think of the amount of people you're helping on the phone. To you, it's just a job. But there might be loads of people out there walking around now, and the only reason they're walking around is they talk to Oliver.
Thank you.
It's the truth, man.
No, it's true, but it does help me reflect back on it. It's again, it's purpose, it's meaning, it's provided something valuable, and it's not just a job. Really, I guess it's a vocation. You might call it a calling.
A vocation.
But yeah.
Oh, there was a man here in Sydney. He's died now. They have if you ever come to Sydney, there's a place called The Rocks. A lot of people jump off them. And he lived nearby, and he used to look out in the evenings, and if he saw anyone, he'd walk over with a cup of tea.
Wow.
And he didn't save everyone, but he saved loads of people. Just this. Eventually, they made a story about him, but that's what he did. No pay, no anything. He'd just go out there and sit there and said, "You want to," you know, and he'd just sit there and go, "Yeah, look, I'm not going to stop you. I just want to know why you're doing it, and this and this." But just think of the beauty of that. Here's someone. They've been born to parents. Maybe they love. They've gone through all the issues of their life, and they've reached a moment where they go, "I can't take it anymore." And a last-ditch effort, they reach out with a phone call, and they reach you. You know, and here you are. You don't know who they are, like you don't know me from shit. You don't know who I am, and yet here we are having this conversation, and I'm just trying to learn about you. But I could have been someone in deep distress, and they're not going to know what you look like. They're not going to judge you by anything else other than the fact your voice, your empathy, and you helped. It's actually a really beautiful thing.
It is. It's deep.
Yeah, it really is.
Special.
It is, and it must be very hard sometimes. I would say to take that many calls. I don't know how you could do that during a whole day without actually.
It's exhausting. It is physically exhausting. Yeah, it is exhausting, and we have other issues that add to the complexity of our roles in office. You know, politics and things like that.
Yeah,
but it's a challenging role, but I'm very grateful that in the UK, just the health system, we have a publicly funded system, which is not great, but it's been great for me. So as a patient, it's been wonderful, and also as an employee, I'm very grateful to have the NHS. So it's been great to me.
Yeah, we have sort of a similar system over here.
I'm aware. I'm aware. Yes.
With your advocacy work, how did that start? And then
Mm.
how has that changed your life?
So it's been amazing. So when I appeared on Sky News and BBC, I was called upon by two charities, Changing Faces, that I mentioned, and one supporting people with neurofibromatosis called Nerve Tumors UK. And they asked me to be champions or advocates, whatever the word is. It keeps changing. And I now spend time every time there's a promotion on their socials. I do a little write up. I write a monthly blog for them, and I do my own work on Insta and TikTok, just talking about various issues. I do a daily saying, a little quote every day. I've remembered so many of them, and I talk, quote famous people like C.S. Lewis and Joseph Merrick, the Elephant Man, and people like them, and we just go on a
What's his
journey
quote?
together. And so his quote was, so Joseph Merrick, the Elephant Man, Victorian Britain, he said, "It's true, my form is something odd, but blaming me is blaming God. If I could make myself anew, I would not fail in pleasing you." So it speaks about trying to change for society, but he was just him.
Yeah, and you
Yeah,
can't do that.
you can't do that.
You try to become something society wants you to become. The only thing you
Mm,
lose is your soul. It's
exactly.
the first goal of any human being is to discover who they are and
Mm,
bring that human to the poetry of humanity.
mm,
That's a given. But
mm,
it's
mm,
hard, but that's a given. But
mm, mm,
just to sort of wrap it up now,
mm,
what
mm,
would you tell to people going forward as not so
mm,
much how to deal with someone who's afflicted, but
mm,
how to just pick yourself up? And I don't
mm.
know if today's a good day for you or a bad day. You're wearing a Volkswagen T-shirt. That's all I've got
Sorry
to
about
go
that.
on. That's all right. So I don't know if it's a good day or
35
bad day
degrees
for
here.
you.
Yeah, it's a great
55.
day. 35 degrees C here. Yeah,
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Well, you're getting our summer. It's climate change. It's
exactly.
just climate. We're just. I'm freezing in
Exactly.
Queensland,
Mm, mm,
and you're sweating. But what do you have to offer to people to actually keep going? Like
mm,
what you said about the batteries, but what is it
mm.
about life that makes it worth the journey, no matter what?
Yeah, there's a couple of things. So my overarching message every day, I leave with the message: just be kind. Tell one person your story because it matters, right? Your suffering is not for nothing. You can inspire somebody else just by telling one person your story. And I've told millions of people my story, so it's been impactful. So wake up every day, look in the mirror, know who you are, and carry on. And today might not be a good day, but tomorrow you just have to keep carrying on and keep moving forward. Eventually, you'll be grateful for these lessons. And if you're in a storm at the moment, it will pass. The most horrific fires don't last forever, and storms pass, right? And it's simple things, but it's true. Just remember that.
Last thing, you've been married for
Mm.
10 years. How did you find love?
So Bridget and I, we met at a church in Southfields in London, Southwest London, South African group of people, and she loves me for who I am. She's got an ability, a heart that looks past all of that, and just loves me for me. So, yeah, it's amazing.
That must have
It's a
been a
real
wonderful
blessing.
thing in your life.
Yeah, it was. It definitely was. It hasn't been without its some challenges, as you know, but it's been beautiful, and I'm very grateful.
Bromley? I mean, Oliver? I keep calling you Bromley because it's such a great word.
It's my Instagram
Oliver?
handle, Bromleyo. Yeah,
Oh, Bromley's great, man. Bromley is cool. Oliver's
yeah.
good too, but Bromley
Thank you.
is especially good.
Thank
Um,
you.
that's it, man. I'm gonna let you get back to your Saturday day there. It's Saturday night here. I'm gonna get stoned now. This is my evening off. But
Okay.
thank you. Thank you for coming
Thank you
on.
for having me.
Thank you
Yeah.
for sharing your story,
Mm.
your wisdom,
Thank
and
you.
thank you for surviving all you've done to actually get here. Tell your story. You know what I mean?
Appreciate it.
It's
Appreciate it.
it's
Thank you.
it's the reality of it. And so I'll just see. Actually, we've got some questions. Sorry, before I let you go, might as well knock them off.
No problem. No
I'll
problem.
just get here. Let's have a look through. Is it any way related to warts? Says Jason.
No, it's not, and I get that a lot. They are tumors that occur at the nerve endings, so they're not warts, and you can't cure them, you can't treat them.
And what happens if they remove them? Do they just grow back?
They do grow back. Yes.
Okay. Tessie is horrified at ignorant people with the restaurant.
Thank you, Tessie.
April, power in storytelling. That's true. This is what we do
Thank
here.
you,
We
April.
record stories, we tell them. Tad Askew, neurofibromatosis. How do I do?
Is it painful? You did well. It can be because of where it occurs at the nerve endings. You get neuropathy, which is nerve pain. So some of them are painful. I'm not in any pain at the moment. Thank you.
What do you have things for the pain though? Is it?
Yeah, you can take just paracetamol. I don't know what you call it in Australia, but just painkillers. Yeah.
Yeah. A wonderful and courageous man. Oh, that's about me. Sorry.
Thank you, Brenda. Of course.
No, that's great. There's Brenda. Cool dude, Clive. Great, Clive.
Thank you, Clive.
There's take a bigger man not to throw in the towel. Much respect. Yeah, this is it, man.
Thank you, Brenda.
Yeah. I'm just seeing if there's any questions, but I think everyone's patting you on the back. Positive, perfect career for such a positive man.
Thank you,
Let's go down. Let's go down. Let's go down. Man, there's so many. I'm on the right thing. Just huge respect. Yeah.
Thank you.
No other questions. Unless you got the lot of numbers.
I know.
No.
No, I don't.
Thanks, Oliver. Take care.
Thank you.
I wish you
Thanks
the best,
for having
mate. And tell your other mate too. I saw when you two the story together. I thought, wow, I'm just really interested. I just think there's so much depression in Australia at the moment that I think it's good to hear that ways to actually lift yourself up. Even the battery thing, I think, is good.
Do I know
Take
any
care,
Aussie
Oliver,
jokes?
and I'll see you the rest of you
Bye.
tomorrow when we do the Ambos. And have a great day, mate. Take care.
Bye. Bye. Thank you.
When I met Jesus Christ, he was almost 10 years old, and he was helping his mother push a trolley full of all they owned. And because they couldn't find an inn they could get in, they were heading to the city and leaving Bethlehem. Couldn't you perform a miracle? I'm out of them, he said. I tried turning nothing into warmth, but it just made my mother cry. It just made my mother cry. Mary Magdalene has become a man, and tonight he's old, and she has been riding my tram. Now it's late and she's trying to sleep beneath the poster for a bank. Your dreams are important to us as it bathes her face in gold. Come give us your natural gifts, we make wealth from toil. Come pretend for history's page that we're advancing Australia fair. Let's pretend that we're all advancing Australia fair. Back down the road I found the church we built on the black man's bones was empty, and out the front a sign read all but sold. A sign read all but sold. And we all owe so much money, but to whom we're not quite sure. So hey,